Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you haven't been before. My name is Watto. I wander about with Kim. Hello Kim.
Hello Kim.
That's Kim. Today we've just come out for a bit of a walk because we've been getting a bit lazy on a weekend, haven't we?
Yes.
Well, I have. We've come down to Severn Beach, a bit further down the Severn Estuary, just for a bit of a walk, and we'll show you a few things along the way. Let's go. Wow, I hope you can hear us all right, because it is just a little bit windy. We did bring the drone. We were going to get some aerial shots. But it's about 60-mile-an-hour winds at the moment, so maybe not. Right, Severn Beach. It used to be, believe it or not, a very thriving seaside resort. Although if you go way back, what was it you were reading earlier on? If you go way back, it was just a farm, is that right? Yeah, just a farm. And then what, 1920s, I think, they made a bit of a seaside resort, and it was popular with people from Bristol, which is just up the road really, to come and spend a bit of time. It's not much of a beach as you'd call it, because that is actually the Severn Estuary, so that is the river, and the tide is out at the moment. We're struggling to hold the camera, we're struggling to to do anything because it's mad windy, but we're out having a walk. It used to be a thriving seaside resort. I couldn't even remember it when I was a kid. And this used to be a boating lake. We know that because there's a sign that says so. There's a boating lake, there was a swimming pool, there was roller coasters everywhere. Thriving little place. But at the moment, back end of January, and it's pretty damn cold. How cold are you on a scale of 1 to 10? 8. So this is part of the Severn Way for all you walkers out there. If you want to walk the Severn Way, I suggest you do it on a day where it isn't quite as windy as this. Even I'm getting blown about, and I'm like 10 stone. Hopefully you can still hear me. If you see there, and I'll try and hold the camera still, you can just see just how far out the tide is. Another example of the River Severn and its famous 48 feet tidal range. So you can imagine 48 feet worth of water will come in when the tide comes in. Pretty impressive. And that bridge you can see there is the Severn Bridge. That carries the M4 from England to Wales. Woo, right, we're going to try and make our way along this little beach bit, try and get underneath the Severn Bridge, or actually I believe that one is actually the second Severn crossing. The Severn Bridge is a little bit further up, and there's of course a suspension bridge. Right, if we don't get blown off down the channel, we'll see you in a minute. I don't know if you can just about see in the background there, through this arch is the second bridge further up, which is actually the original bridge, if that makes sense. Quite a nice shot there. And you can see how far apart they are. Not that far apart really. You've got the M4 going across this one and the M48 going across the other one. Alright, don't ask, just don't ask. We'll show you the picture she's taken in a minute. All I can say is I bet that pipe's a bit chilly where it doesn't need to be chilly. Well, I hope Kim doesn't notice this, but PW, which is me, JW, hope she doesn't notice that one. Oh, all of a sudden it's gone dead quiet because we're sheltered by one of these massive buttresses which you can see and is driven into the bed of the river and goes all the way across. There in the distance is Wales. Very interesting to see the construction from this angle, i.e. underneath it. Well, I really hope you guys can see with this camera the way the light is across there on the Severn Bridge further up. Really beautiful. There are some very, very nice views along here. If you come down in the summer, which would be a bit more sensible, you'll be able to enjoy more views. It's also a very good fishing spot down here, I'm told. They get a few cod run up here and whiting and what have you. Anybody who fancies giving it a go. A little bit less windy down below the seawall bit, but it's a very, very nice walk, isn't it? Nice there. Tim's idea, of course, to come down here. Let's go for a walk. It'd be lovely. It is lovely, of course. Lovely walk so far. You've got views of the estuary all the way up. You do get to see just how big that river is, don't you? Massive. And of course, the longest one in the UK. Don't forget that. Now that's not a bad view, is it? Right away across the estuary there, there's the original Severn Bridge. Obviously a suspension bridge. And as we learnt the other week when we visited Lydney Harbour, which is just about another couple of miles further up from here, but on the opposite bank of the river to what we are today, that bridge is about 1.5 kilometres long. Pretty amazing feat of engineering, if you ask me. Just pan across the estuary here. May or may not be able to see it on this camera, but there's a bit of a rainbow forming there. There's the end of it at the start of the bridge there. I wonder if there's a pot of gold over there. Right, we've walked along and we've made it as far as what is known as the New Passage, and this is where the Bristol and South Wales Union Railway connected Bristol to the New Passage, where passengers got off here and got on a ferry and went across the river to Port Skewitt, which is on the Welsh side. There is an old passage which will be further up that way. We'll have a look in a bit. There we are. There's a plaque to commemorate that. And this is where the ferry went left and went across to Port Skewitt on the other side. just have to say, what a beautiful little row of houses. And you can imagine getting up in the morning, standing on your balcony with your coffee and looking across to Wales. And seeing little short women taking photos. Look. Oh, there is a Severn Heritage Trail that runs along, which starts on the seawall almost underneath the second Severn crossing, which we just walked underneath. Very interesting for those of you who want to come down and have a little bit of an explore. Right, we're going to try and make our way back against the wind to make a bit of a return trip to the walk. Just came across this sign here with these stones next to it. They said that they used to mark the boundaries between land holdings, and landowners had to maintain the sea wall. The commissioners of the court and sewers, set up by Edward II in 1312 and revised by Henry VIII in 1532. They met regularly to inspect the flood defences, and they had the powers to fine landowners who neglected their duty of maintaining the sea wall. Good idea. We've dropped down onto this grassy bit out of the wind, quite frankly. It's blowing my ears off. This whole area did used to be, like I said, as quite a thriving seaside resort, and there was roller coasters, there was a Lido, really, really popular back in the day. I'll try and find some pictures and stick them on the screen for you. Whew. Well, glad to be back in the car after all that wind. Hope you've enjoyed that little stroll along the front of Severn Beach there. And some nice views across the estuary. If you have enjoyed it, hit the like button, leave us a comment if you want, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'll see you on the next one. Say goodbye, Kim.
Goodbye, Kim.
Bye, Kim.